Mr. Gohmert seek recognition.
Move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm grateful to Congressman Jeffries for bringing this bill. And just so there's clarity about why there is such a gross disparity, since I've been here in Congress, the issue came up of the great disparity, and there were comments made at the time that, this was a racist disparity. Dan Lundgren was here, and he was saying that he was here back in the 80s when that had passed, and that Republicans had been told, some of the white members, if you don't support, and Charlie Rangel was pushing, most of the Congressional Black Caucus was, but he said Rangel's pitch was, if you do not support this big disparity in punishing crack cocaine, then you must be against minority communities because crack cocaine is absolutely destroying black communities. And that, the Republicans didn't want to be seen as racist, so they voted for that big disparity. And I agree with my colleagues across the aisle now that there really was not appropriate to have that kind of disparity. As someone who has sentenced people for both powder and crack cocaine under state law, I don't see any reason there should be this kind of disparity. But I would also caution that we be careful about how the term racist is used, because that term enabled a bill to pass that actually was racist, not in the intention of anybody, including the Black Caucus that was pushing it, but in effect, it was very unfair in the way it ended up treating people who had crack cocaine as opposed to powder cocaine. So I'd made the comment previously that it would be great if we could have a bill that just fixed this gross disparity, even the 18-to-1, and I am grateful to Mr. Jeffries for doing exactly that. This was a very clean bill that did exactly what the gentleman had indicated it would, and that's why I am pleased to be a co-sponsor and very grateful that you've handled it this way.
Would the gentleman yield?
Certainly.
Well, the gentleman is exactly right. Charlie Rangel and other members of the Black Caucus did, back in the 1980s, say that this was racist. They were wrong then, and they have admitted since then that they were wrong. I don't think there's any single member of the Black Caucus, current or present, who doesn't think, hasn't admitted, if they were then here, their mistake.
And reclaim my time. So I applaud this. This is the way we ought to be doing things. I like having one subject, one bill, and we agree this does need to be fixed. So thank the chairman for bringing this to committee for a markup, and I'm very grateful for the way in which this was brought to the committee.
Will the gentleman yield?
Certainly.
I want to thank the distinguished gentleman from Texas. We had this conversation informally, you and Cedric Richmond, when he was a part of the committee, and we appreciate your support and your commitment to dealing with this issue. And I think the record is very clear. It was a bipartisan failure. And as chairman—
But you did it, and you made it happen. And I'm grateful for that. Well, and the record should reflect you did exactly what you said you were going to do, and I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you.
I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.